are live.
Live.
That's how we roll, live. So pretty awesome conference that we've been to. I don't even know, like, this was the coolest stuff, guys. And there was so much money here. You guys think we have money at crypto conferences? Let me tell you.
Yeah, we're eating filet mignon for lunches.
Let me just add some zeros, okay?
Yes.
And that's where we are right here.
The big players were there. Intel, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman.
All the big guys, well, we all see what's going on in the world. And, one of the things I always talk about is this monetary revolution that we're in and that we are a part of. And now, we've been saying this for 10 years. And now, all of a sudden, we're right, first of all, when Bitcoin pumped so high, they go, oh, man, those guys are right. And then we're like, no, this is a revolution. And we're working for the revolution. And people are just kind of looking at it sideways, like, what? And then now they realize it. And that's what, David and I talked a little bit about the other night, was people are starting to get it, that central banks are actually running everything. So, pretty, it was really enlightening to see a lot of what was going on. What did you think?
I thought it was a very interesting conference. There was definitely a lot of electronic warfare discussed. We're definitely moving into a new realm of evolution, shall we say. No longer is everything seen. And I think cryptocurrency, cybersecurity, cryptography play a large part in our future. So
cryptography is huge. The electronic warfare, EW, was the big word. It was also the information warfare, IW. So EW was that's the big one. The electronics warfare, and that is like jamming. That is high-speed processors. We made some very interesting contacts with people that we're going to be working with.
AMD, NVIDIA, all the FPGAs. We're actually looking to develop some FPGA and ASICs possibly very shortly.
These guys have no trust.
Zero knowledge.
Zero knowledge stuff that they think that they can put on our blockchain that we started, 10 years ago and do something with. And I think they're right. And so that's going to be pretty interesting as we move forward, the stuff that comes out of this. And, we've always have been, we went to the No Identity Conference back before anybody was on identity. And now we're here at this electronic warfare conference, and information warfare, electronic warfare, again, at the forefront. And one of those, that's one of the nice things about being in Washington, D.C. Randy, of course, is in North Jersey, but you guys got to understand, if you're not on the East Coast, New York to D.C. is like one big corridor. It takes us about 3.5, 4 hours, or you can fly, but you can drive or fly. And, this is where really everything is going on. You got some stuff going on in Florida and stuff like in Boston, of course. But really, it's New York to DC. And that's where it all is. And here is where they print the money.
The UN to the White House. Actually, they print the money in New York. The Federal Reserve is in New York. And all the World Bank stuff is happening in New York. I mean, these stockbrokers and the stock market, and they're just making the money out of thin air, all the banks.
They're making the money out of thin air, and then they're doing it here. And some of the stuff that we saw here, we won't even talk about. Some of it, obviously, we will. It's, and you make contacts. You don't want to burn those contacts and stuff like that. Some of the talks were really interesting. Of course, we saw the Secretary of the Navy, as well as some other stuff. And, in town this week, as many of you know, all of you probably that follow us, you had the Ukrainian president here, Zelensky, picking up another cool $200 million. Yeah, it's not a bad business.
It's not a bad business.
I think President Biden is on to something.
And then you had them talking about how they're only using drones in Ukraine for like an hour. So I don't know where the money's going, but it's not for DGT drones or whatever it is.
Well, and as well, another, there are a few big takeaways that, like I said, someone will talk about, so we won't. One of the big takeaways is, we are in bed with Ukraine. I think everybody kind of knows that. We are in bed with Ukraine. is Ukraine.
Joint forces.
We are
it's all about
forces.
joint forces.
We're joint at the hip. We not really a whole lot of talk about Israel. It was really Ukraine focused.
Thank God.
Really Ukraine focused this time. But that was who was in town. And if you remember, the last time there was a big show like this, the other guys were in town, and it was more of that focus. So that was another, pretty interesting how I feel like they time these things to really take advantage of when the people are in town. And, obviously politics it's a hot potato, right? You don't want to talk about it, but how can you not talk about it? We're in a monetary revolution. Really, to be completely frank with you, I was a libertarian before Trump ran the first time, and I think most of us are really libertarians that are in this monetary revolution. Of course, Trump brought us over, and we voted Republican. So here we are as party anybody is at. As long as there's freedom, we need to shut down the central banks. Like literally. We need to shut down the central banks, and that's really Milei. Now this is interesting. So we're laughing last night, and Milei, the guy from Argentina, is shutting down the central banks.
Wait, yeah, but we're thinking that the central bank was broke anyway. So it's all a big show, smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. Well, because this guy, there's a lot of stuff that is interesting about his background, and so we're really going back and forth about stuff.
Show you something.
And yeah, the central bank of Argentina was broke anyway, and so he's ending the he's ending the
in the way,
So really, it is
one big cabal,
and you're not a part of it.
You might be.
You might be. You're like, there's doggone guys.
They're still doing it. They're still at it.
So, a few other things that came out of this, guys. Of course, we have the Media Node program. We made Yahoo Finance while we were here. Nice release out there talking about what we're doing. Decentralized media. We really want to have everybody's media where it's uncensorable. And, we want the money to be uncensorable. When we talk about uncensorable, we mean unseizable, unstoppable. We want freedom.
Freedom.
We want freedom.
Just pure freedom. It's not too much to ask for, I don't think, in this day and age. Well, actually, in this day and age, it's something, but it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I was just talking to someone, actually, and he said taxation was theft. But it's really, sure, it's theft, but it's extortion. If you don't pay your taxes, they're going to throw you in jail. So, and taxes is like 50% right now, even though if you don't realize it or not, it's like 50%. And if you don't pay it, they're going to throw you in jail. And so we're all getting extorted. A big part of this is the central banks. And that, people say Trump and the 4D chess and everything. I'm not such a big 4D chess guy on Trump, to be totally clear. But if he did do some things to end the Fed or break the Fed, it would be interesting. The Federal Reserve, guys, is a private bank, and the fact that you don't know who owns it,
you can't audit it.
You can't audit.
I mean, if you're a corporation in this country, you should be auditable, right? That should be. How are they exempt? Like, how is a corporation in this country exempt from corporate law?
Literally, this is how it works.
Doesn't make sense.
They print the money, they lend it to you, us, and then they charge us interest.
Which they print.
Which they just printed out.
And then you got to borrow it from them again just to pay off the interest.
And
so you're always borrowing. So
there's
that's a
no
perpetual
way
cycle
in the world that we can ever get out and pay off the national debt with the central banks still running.
Correct.
We need to get back on gold and silver and then digital crypto blockchains. And I'm not talking about Ethereum or XRP or these ones that they can be frozen and seized and everything else. I'm talking about OG real blockchains, real. I don't want to call it money because it's not money.
Public blockchains that anybody can join, any miner can join, put in work, and support it.
You can buy it. You can just get it by supporting the network. You can turn on your computer, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Global Boost. Turn on your computer, lend some computing power to the network, and then you're able to have some of these digital bits, And again, I really stopped calling it money. It's not money. It's something new. It's something new that the world has never had before.
Correct. Correct. Stop trying to put it in a box because the box doesn't exist yet.
The box doesn't exist yet.
It's a message. It's just a message that's broadcast through a network. You can't censor a message. It's secure. First Amendment.
It's
First Amendment protects it.
It's information.
It's information.
It's information.
And if you call that money, you can call whatever you want. You can call the cow. It doesn't make it a cow.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people call each other a lot of things. Right?
That's
you
correct.
See these guys masquerading around dresses and stuff. You know, they call themselves all kinds of things. Anyway, wonderful conference here. I think that I know that we made some amazing contacts that are going to really be fruitful. And then as well, we just learned so much of what's going on, how to operate, you know, what we really need to do in order to have global boost and this technology that we have go to the next level.
We need satellites. Satellites.
I was going to say it. Okay.
Satellites,
We're
radio. We need all kinds of communication. We need to take over our own communication infrastructure and provide that as a service. Because
Which is what we're doing.
We can't rely, you know, there's all this talk now about this blackout or this cyber attack, upcoming cyber attack as part of the World Economic Forum playbook. It's part of their playbook. They talk about the cyber attack. The only way to protect it is through radio or satellites or some other form of communication, which we need, because what's going to happen is if the networks are shut down, you're going to have a lot of forks of a lot of these cryptocurrencies while miners pick it up in different nodes. And then what's going to happen is along this change, you're going to have double spends. A lot of bad stuff's going to happen. So we need to protect this trillion-dollar industry that we started. We need to reinvest back into the infrastructure so that we can continue to go upward unhindered without the threat of them stopping it.
And here's the thing, guys. People say, "Oh, you need gold. You need gold. If the electricity goes out, it's gonna stop or this and that." And guys, look, here's the deal. If they hit the grid, they hit the grid, right? Your other money is basically all digital anyway. And if you have cash is just whatever anyway.
And they did get wiped out. Some of these countries, the banks did get wiped out with it. Look at Enron.
Look at Enron.
They took down a tower, and that was the end of all the books.
It was look at
the trade centers,
look at the Pentagon when they
and then they lost trillions in records. But blockchain, you can't hit a single source because it lasts all over it. And the only way you can shut down is to shut down the grid or shut down the communication lines.
And you still, when it comes back online, are going to have
there.
All of these different points that are going to say, okay, nope, this is what it is. And the guys, yeah, this is what I have, and this is what I have. And so even if they're trying to change history, which is what they're doing, they can't. Okay, and that's it's so powerful, guys. It's our own money. It's our own communication. It's our own recording of history. And right now, we're at a point in history where we're looking around at each other and being like, was the last 100 years really recorded correctly?
I mean, look, you can put an ordinal on Bitcoin or on Global Boost and have a recording of history, snapshot of history that can't be erased, that your kids, your grandkids will see. And not only that, you can never change the history, which they do. They rewrite the books.
It's like they change this and they change that, and then you don't know. So it's really important stuff, guys. Of course, you're going to see me. I've been talking a lot more about it as we kind of go into this rebrand. We've been at it for a long time, and really, what spurred this, of course, was getting banned on X. So I got banned on X. If you guys have been following me closely, I was banned on X about 2 or 3 months ago. Permanently banned. They said, "That's it, bro. You're done." I had to go to the top, and all of a sudden I had it back. Okay, but it was, and at that point I thought, gosh, all that history is there. And we need a way in order to preserve it. And so that's what we're building, as well as leveraging what we have. And so really interesting stuff, guys. This electronic warfare, again, just like in the monetary revolution, blockchain, distributed ledger is right front and center. And people say, "Oh, well, you don't know who invented Bitcoin and this and that and the other." It doesn't matter, guys. it doesn't matter. You can still use it. And if you want to go comb over the code like we combed over the code so much that we built one ourselves. And I can tell you, there's no back doors on it. If there were back doors on it, we would have found it. And there's a lot of guys that are smarter than me, smarter than Randy, believe it or not. And they've been combing over it too. Okay, and we would know. We would know. And in specific as well, we have a very specific hashing algorithm to ours, which is also unique, and we were talking to the guys about. So pretty interesting. Hats off to Randy really for putting this one on my radar. I do a lot of different ones here in DC, but he kept saying, no, this one's huge, and he was right. And we're going to continue working it, guys. One thing I will say, there's been a big culling of older projects, and that didn't make it to this point. We've been through 3 or 4 bare winners as it goes. And so we are now emerging from that, and we're working hard, and we're doing special stuff. And we have other projects as well that we are working on, and we will be launching those. But this one in specific turned out to be so important because of where we are in history and what was happening to our Western world and the whole world, really. What's happening to our country, what's happening to the Western world. Free speech gone, freedom of money gone, freedom of travel gone. They're even trying to bring back the masks. It's crazy. It's crazy. Freedom of even what you put in your body. It's nuts.
Can't even eat clean food.
They're poisoning us.
If you're raising food, they're forcing farmers to inject it.
It's crazy. Yes, you're right. They're raising food. Now that's another thing that we're setting up. Actually, I'm working. We were busy this week, but I have some initial calls in with a guy to set up a network of different meats and vegetables and stuff you can buy with your Boosty. So that's going to be pretty interesting too.
I know I'll be buying some.
Of course.
Of course. I'm going to be eating good, man. I got a lot of Boost.
We've been eating good here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the next one that they're doing, this one is in Oslo. I told them we're in. Okay. We need a bigger logo this time. And we need to be invited to all the parties. Okay? No parties without us. Yeah. All right. We're going to sign off. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, very important meeting that we have here, guys. Global Boost Media, we'll be doing this around the world. We are as well, we're doing a lot, okay? And the guys that are big holders, especially, and that's the way this deal works. You become a big holder and then you work on it, right? And these guys, they're going even bigger now. And so we're developing a lot of tech that we're going to be using at conferences like this and partnering with conferences like this to use it. So we'll have more of that coming up. But yeah, check out the press release on Yahoo Finance as well. I think it's on our Global Boost feed. And we'll see you soon.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost. Become a champion of free speech and help to reshape the future of media.